I'm Muslim.
Hey, yo, you're not Muslim. You're atheist. Also, it's pronounced Muslim. Anyways, let's listen to the only reasonable thing Cenk said in this video.
A lot of people raise their hands, and sometimes it looks like that. But what Elon did was a salute. That wasn't just raising your, oh, hey guys, guys, salute. No, he snapped. Look at the snap. No, come on. You tell me he did that on accident?
So Cenk is clear about Elon's Nazi salute, but now let's hear why Cenk doesn't think you should refer to someone as a Nazi when they do Nazi salutes, maybe wear Nazi costumes, make Nazi references, or quote Nazi materials.
So, and if we say gas chambers at the very beginning, you're gonna lose all credibility. And then when they actually do start getting to dangerous places, people aren't gonna believe you. So that's why I think it's counterproductive. I don't think it helps.
Cenk doesn't think it helps to call out signs of extreme racist or bigoted behavior, even something as extreme as Nazi behavior, because you lose all credibility with racists and bigots. Remember, we're talking about purposeful Nazi salutes and overt racist and bigoted behavior. And when we get to dangerous places, people aren't going to believe you. So when things get really bad, the racists won't believe you. So just keep quiet until everything is fucked up, and then start talking about things when racism is completely normalized and entrenched and racists are mobilized. Sounds like a reasonable strategy.
And is Elon Musk an actual Nazi? Well, number one, of course we don't know what's in his head.
Number one, we don't have to be concerned about what's in his head or what's deep in his heart to comprehend he purposely did a Nazi-style salute and has made several public racist and bigoted statements. It speaks for itself. If you want to hold yourself out to be such a person, it's irrelevant as to whether you truly believe the nasty shit you're saying or doing. In Cenk's new world, you're not supposed to accept when someone is communicating something specific to you because you didn't pierce into their true self. Cenk, this is not a certification process. This is such an idiotic and tried and true right-wing path to go down where no one can be considered a racist unless they self-identify as one and hold themselves out to be one. Right, Cenk?
Is there anybody in this country that you're willing to call a white supremacist, or do you just completely rule that word out?
No, of course. If they declare themselves a white supremacist, everything they say is about white supremacy. But number two, yeah, I'd be a little surprised if he thought, I can't wait to kill all the Jews.
Number two, why would you be a little surprised when you don't know him at all? I wouldn't be surprised at all if a random person who I don't know felt that way, especially someone doing Nazi salutes with a history of making racist and bigoted statements. In Cenk's mind, you can't be a Nazi, exhibit Nazi behavior, or propagate Nazism without not wanting to be able to wait to kill all the Jews, as he puts it. This man has an Ivy League education. Is he really this stupid? Is he just trying to remain on Elon's good side? Is this part of the right-wing grift? You be the judge. Anyhow, now let's listen to Cenk's co-hosts calmly and clearly explain to Cenk the reality of the situation. Clearly that's going to help, right?
It doesn't have to be his end objective. It just has to be something he's willing to be okay with. But just because the 2025 version of a Nazi isn't the same as the 1945 version of it, doesn't mean that they don't have shared ideological views. It just means there's a different way that it's going.
But there were so many people who supported the Nazi party, right? He had so many supporters at his rallies. We saw all those people. Those people are Nazis. They're not the ones throwing people into gas chambers, but they're supporting the party that's doing it, right?
So both of Cenk's co-hosts break the situation down in terms that a child should be able to understand. Why Elon can be viewed as a Nazi, the fact that Nazism has evolved over time, and that not all Nazis had to physically throw people into gas chambers to be Nazis in order to still be considered complete pieces of shit like Elon.
But I don't agree with you guys. Look, if you say they shared views, they're going in that direction, but they can say that same about us.
You can say they have shared views and are going in that direction. Yes, that's precisely what people are saying. They can say the same thing about us? Are we doing Nazi salutes on stage, quoting Nazi material and saying other random racist shit? If we are, then they should be saying the same thing about us, or maybe we are them. I mean, I'm not them, but maybe Cenk is them. I don't know.
But guys, when we start talking about gulags, you're gonna lose the American people. There are no gulags right now, and there's no threat of gulags right now. And I know that a lot of people on the left think there is, and they think different ethnicities are gonna be put into gulags. You're not seeing that the majority of the country's like, gulags? What the hell are you guys talking about?
I don't.
I guess it depends on what you mean by gulag, Cenk? I don't know if your definition of a gulag requires forced labor camps, but aren't a lot of American prisoners forced to work? So technically, we kinda sorta have our own variety of gulags. Also, there's no threat of gulags? Wasn't Trump talking about the enemy within and how he's gonna use all his presidential powers to go after his political rivals and throw them in jail? That's kind of a threat, isn't it? Cenk would say it's not a threat unless Trump signs a notarized statement admitting that it's a threat. But political prisoners, our prisons have forced labor. Yeah, definitely no threat of gulags at this time. And I don't know why people of different ethnicities would think they'd be rounded up and imprisoned. Japanese internment camps didn't have forced labor, so it was just a forced vacation in a confined area with no civil rights. Definitely not a gulag, more just an internment camp. It's not like it ever happened before, and it's not like ICE agents are going around right now and herding up people based on the way they look, including some US citizens. I'm sure they're also herding up random white people too, so it's all very non-threatening and chill. I love the way Cenk relies so heavily on what the majority of the country thinks and how he knows what the majority of the country thinks. If the majority of the country told you to jump off a bridge, would you do that, Cenk? But they're in the majority, man.
But I'm just talking about the ideology and the normalization of these more racist ideologies, these more exclusionary ideologies, and the fact that, like even America first, right? It sounds kind of innocent on its surface, but when you actually look into what it actually means to the people who subscribe to that belief, it is a little dystopian. It is very concerning for a lot of the people who might be on the outside of that.
It's incredible that Cenk needs someone to break things down like that. Well, you see, Cenk, these hateful, racist, bigoted ideologies are kind of not good, and they're being normalized these days, including by you in this discussion. Cenk somehow wants to pretend a very active portion of Trump's movement are not there exclusively for the racism, the xenophobia, and the bigotry, and that it's just fun and games for Trump, or Elon in this case, to throw them some red meat. If not to embolden their hateful beliefs so they can be transformed into hateful actions, then maybe just for shits and giggles. Nazi salutes, racial slurs, and stuff like that just to troll. It's just trolling.
You might not know that that will not replace us comes from Nazi history, but they know that, and they wrote that in their script anyway. So I get why Yaz and JR and so many people are concerned, because you've got some super nefarious people that are pushing in that direction. But if we say we're there already, I think that does great damage to our, because I don't think it's true, first of all, and second of all, it's counterproductive.
Oh, false alarm, guys. Cenk understands this, I guess. But since we're not at the stage where people are currently incarcerated and getting executed because of their race, just chill for the time being. Don't want to jump the gun here. There are all these nefarious people trying to push hateful ideologies, and it seems to be working, but remain calm for now. It's counterproductive to say things are going in a bad direction or that bad things are happening, because then the other side thinks we're saying everyone is already getting tortured in a gulag, so then the other side is not going to listen to us when they actually do put us in the gulag.
By the way, what do I think Musk and Trump's real agenda is? I know this is going to shock you guys. Money.
Money, money, with racism on the side just for shits and giggles. Cenk is definitely right, though. Never in history have people concerned with getting money been racists or utilized a racist agenda or ideology to further their pursuit of money and power. JR later in the video made a point that slave owners in America wanted money but also used a racist system to get that money. Cenk said it was a strong point, but no strong point can move Cenk once his mind is made up. And he clearly doesn't care about how all the people around him on TYT feel, except for Anna. And as we know, Anna...
They have not delivered. They have not delivered. I'm done.
So I just hope that we all have honest conversations about what we think is the best strategy to combat that, instead of saying, oh, I don't like your strategy, so I think maybe you're working with them.
Let's be real, Cenk. Your strategy is to get more private equity funding.